Okay, welcome, guys. Good afternoon.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon. Yeah, good
Oh, okay.
afternoon. Yeah.
Please, you let me know if you can see my.
I can see it
Yes.
from my end.
Oh, okay. So I've touched base with Ernest, so he will join us soon. So, but before we just go, we can just go through a few housekeeping rules just to help us at least get on the same page. So, first things first, so today what we will do is he's giving us 2 hours of his time, and what will happen is he will walk us through the whole process, what is needed, and everything from a certified immigration immigration contestant's perspective. Then from then we'll ask the questions that have been sent in. I'll ask him. Then we'll have a question time where you can ask your questions. But our focus should be mainly on more general questions that other people too can also learn from. So what he's also offering is in terms of one-on-one situations where you might need a more dedicated time with him. There's his website. When you go into the website, you can book a 15-minute session with him. That one is free, where he can engage you on a one-on-one basis and look at your situation as a standalone and give you advice based on your situation and not more of a general kind of thing. The first 15 minutes is free. So you can just go onto his website and book that one. Then I think subsequent one, you can have a conversation with him where it will be more of paid. But because we are Ghanaians, it might more of be discounted one way or the other. So I'll just rope him in. And this is his card. So mainly I'll share it in the chat so that if any information is needed, you can get his contact number and everything off it. But please let's try and reduce the DMs to the minimum because most times their times are very precious. So if you want to have more of a one-on-one session with him, you book the 15 session, it's free. Like I have time for you and talk to you. I don't know whether that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense.
Okay. And I think for today, so far, so Ernest, you let me know when you are ready, then I'll just
Okay. All right. Mm.
okay. So for today, I think we are expecting a lot more people. So and I think the conversation that I had with him was going forward, depending on how today goes, we can have more of a recurring session where either on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis or once a month, he will give us his time for us to go through some of the aspects that he thinks we're supposed to know. And also to avoid noise and stuff, please, it will be good for everybody to like put their mic on mute when they are not talking. But when he's talking and you think a question comes to mind that you want to ask him, you can put it in the chat. When he's done, we will ask those questions so that I can consolidate the questions and ask them and not be repeating them. Then after that, we can just do the Q&A. So, Ernest, I think that should be it. But so
Okay.
we are ready when you are ready.
Uh,
And,
okay, good afternoon.
so I don't know whether you'll be able to lift your camera a little so that you are in the middle. Yeah.
Um, Dreams, please mute your mic. Dreams, please mute your
Please
mic.
mute your mics. I think this okay, I think this is good. So we can go. We can go
All
ahead. Yeah.
right. All right. Good.
Okay. You are
All right.
welcome,
So
Ernest.
thank you
You
very
have the
much
floor.
for right. Thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon to everybody. Uh, as you already know, I'm Ernest Adu-Ansong, RCIC or Registered Immigration Consultant of Canada. And I think I came by one of your colleagues who was on a different platform. And then it was like, you know what? We want you to join our group and then share, or I mean, we discuss what goes on into the into the immigration or visa process in Canada. There's a lot of perception out there that it's kind of difficult to get what do you call it, Canada visa. And from my conversation with you earlier on your platform, I made it aware to you that it's one of the easiest if you know what they are looking for. Okay, because they base more on documentation than one-on-one interview. You know, you go to the American embassy one-on-one, within 15 seconds, they tell you they are done with you. No, these people, they will take your documents and make sure everything is right. Go into it and make sure everything is right before coming out with a decision. They know very well that if they come out with any decision that does not, go according to the IRPA, Immigration Refugee Act, someone can take them on. So they are very, very careful about the decision that comes out from their end. So it's one of the easiest, as I said. And today's section, I'd like to give an overview of what the visa process, the processes that the visa application goes through before finally they do come out to say, you are, you have been given or you have been rejected. So I've categorized it under two main. We have the eligibility, and then we have the admissibility. Those who have access to their online account, you could see from the very first line that they write, your eligibility is yet to be reviewed or has been reviewed, or we are yet to start the review of your eligibility. So that is the first step. Now they move on to the admissibility. That is when we come to your criminal background or criminal or police report. Let me put it that way, police report, and then your medical report. In fact, it goes beyond that. I'm going to touch on each of them. That's a general overview for now. So let's start with eligibility. Now we have various programs that we run under the immigration and visa. We have the students, we have the visitors, we have the workers, we have the express entry, under which we have the provincial nomination, we have the Atlantic Immigration Program, we have the Rural Immigration Program. Then we come down to the spousal sponsorships, the dependent sponsorships. I mean, we have more than 100 programs that one can pass through to come in. And most of the time, what I have realized is that we dwell only on the study permit and then the students, the study permit and then the visitors visa. But we have so many that we can take advantage of, especially some of us who are fortunate to have gone through the university level and all that. Easy to come in under the express entry. I'll touch on all that, if not today, as I make myself available on this platform, I'll be explaining them into details. Now, as I said, we have the eligibility and admissibility. Let's look at eligibility. What is eligibility? That is where the officer assesses that the program under which you are applying, you meet all the criteria that you've set out. Okay, so example, if you take the school or the study permit, what are they expecting from you? One, you've been able to secure a school in the form of admission in a DLI institution. Most of the time, we fall victim of any school. I put it any school because not all of them qualify to allow international students in. Some of them, and the means by which you can see that this guy qualifies or this school doesn't qualify is through the DLI. Any school that you see that you are interested in, please, let's check whether they have a DLI number, designated learning institution number. The DLI, what it means is that now a school who does not have the DLI, one, you are not allowed to bring in international students. In case you are even fortunate, and then the visa officer passes you through without a DLI number, when you are able to enroll after school, you are entitled to the postgraduate work permit. Without a DLI number or without a school with a DLI number, you don't qualify for postgraduate open work permit. So let us take note of that. The DLI number, very, very important. And it can be one of the causes by which, one of the reasons by which a visa officer can refuse you. So please, let us take that one into consideration, the DLI number. Then the next one, which is very, very important, is what they call the finances, okay, in the form of bank statement. Now, most often we do anticipate, or we feel that getting a bank statement with huge sums of money will let us go through. That is not the case. You don't need so much money to convince a visa officer, because in analyzing the bank statement, of course, when the balance is good, it puts you in a very poor position. However, that is not the main thing that they are looking out for. One, what they look out for is the turnover. If you say you are being sponsored by a friend, a family member, and all that, and the person is using the business account to sponsor you, the question is, how should the business or how should the account be operated? They look at the source of income. So let's say you are dealing in spare parts, or the person sponsoring you is dealing in spare parts. What is the evidence of the business that the person is doing? So you can't just take bank statement to them. You have to take the source of income, the registration document. Okay, you have to take samples of the business, samples of the business transaction, the invoices, the receipts. They want to know the source, because believe you me, they know very well that some of us, not all of us, but some of us do go to the banks and buy. This is not secret to them. They know. Some of us Ghanaians and Nigerians are working in the embassies. So we know all these things. When we see, sometimes we laugh because it's just funny. Okay, we have a means to check. We have a means to check every bank statement. Okay, remember, the banks have sample statements with the embassies, and we know how the paper looks like. We know the machine that we can use to check the authenticity of the statement. So don't allow anybody to just print something and give it to you and tell you that it is bringing you a bank statement. When we see that, okay, what we do is that we set it aside. We're going to delay you. Finally, we send it to you and ask you to bring another bank statement of the same, what do you call it, of the same owner. I mean, the person owning that bank statement. Most of the time, you guys are not able to bring it, and we base on it. We have found the main reason why we are refusing you, but we will not make it clear to you. Okay, because we want you to repeat that error, or that whatever that you feel you are doing, that smartness that you think you are smart. You repeat it and you continue bouncing you. So please, we are very, very, very serious with this bank statement thing. It's a whole department which has been dedicated to look into it. So please, as we are bringing the bank statement, let us try and bring genuine bank statement. Canada is very particular about it. That is why we don't stand there 15 minutes and then turn back and we tell you are successful or not. We take your document. We don't do interview now. We don't do when it comes to study permit, visitors, and all that. Recently, I heard someone called me, or some people called me, to find out whether it's true that Canada has extended the the interview to 2025 and all that. No, in the case of Canada, it is not true, because we don't even do interview in the first place. We only do interview when we need clarification, or especially under the spousal sponsorship, when we want to really find out whether the person is your spouse. That is when we will do interview. But when it comes to the temporary visas, such as the work, the visitors, the school, we don't do interview. So you don't get opportunity to come and explain yourself. That is why it's very important you look at the documents that you are bringing. I'll talk about these connection men as we go on. The harm they are causing to us. The harm they are causing to us too much. Okay, so bank statement is key. Now, in talking about the bank statement, some of us have that erroneous impression that when we have huge sums of money, as I said, and so some of the bank statements are genuine, all right, but it's not been active for some time. But when we have the feeling, or when we feel we're going to apply for visa, then we put in large sums of money. That one too is a no-no. That one too is a no-no. That is why we request for more than 3 months, maybe 6 months bank statement. We want to study the trend. It's not just requesting for it. We know why we request for it. We draw a trend to see how the account has been operated. And so if we go back 6 months time and we realize that you were putting 200, 300, 200, 300, you were taking it out and all that, we are operating it, all right? And it gets to the last minute when you want to go for the visa, and then you start putting 30,000, 20,000. It's a no-no. It's a no-no. Because the moment we see that, we realize that, oh, hey, he's trying to trick us. So please, if you are going for a bank statement, I always say, that some people have the vim to bring the genuine bank statement. Even if there's no money, they still get the visa. Some people bring bank statement with, with debit balances, overdraft or overdrawn balances, and they still get it. You don't need huge sums of money, especially if it is business, because the embassy is not expecting you to keep bank statement for visa. You are keeping bank statement for your business. Okay, so if it's a bank statement that has overdraft or overdrawn balance on it, and it is showing activities, that even gives us the impression that this account is, well operated and it is active and it can sustain such a student. So not necessarily bringing, sometimes people ask me, how much do I need in my bank statement in order to qualify for a visa? And I say, the account should be active. The account should be operated as if there's nothing like visa in the system. Okay, so when they are analyzing, they can see all that. You'll be able to see the trend that I'm seeing for the next 2-3 months, for the next 1 year, they will be able to generate enough funds. And then that's why they also look at the source of income. So it is not only your bank statement that is needed. They also look at the source of income. So if you say it is a business, what are the registration documents that you have to back it? You can't just add bank statement and bring it. Okay, how do we know the kind of business that you are doing? Whether it's a legal business or is a money laundering something that you're doing. So please, let's take particular care or let's attribute importance to the bank statement and how it is being operated. Okay, we shouldn't operate account for visa purposes. We should operate a normal account. And then I have to go on and say that apart from your sponsor's bank statement, they also need your personal bank statement. Although they don't, if you say someone is sponsoring you, they are not going to base on your statement to give you, they're not going to base on your statement to give you the visa. They're going to base on your sponsor statement. It is also important to let them know that even Ghana, Krana, you are there, you are into something good, that at the end of the day, you're going to come back. That is the impression you have to create for them. At the end of the day, when you come into the country, it's a different story altogether. That is where you are being convinced, or they are trying to woo you to stay in the country. But once you are outside, the impression is created as if you are not needed here, or you are not needed to stay here. They need you so much, so badly, but for international relation purposes, they have to pretend that you have to come back to your country. Because Ghana would not love to see Canada taking all the brain, like the sharp guys from the system and bringing them to Canada. Ghana can report them to the international organizations. So they have to give that impression that when you are coming to Canada as a student or as a visitor, you should go back home. But the actual fact is that when you come in, they will love you to stay. They will love you to stay, because then why would they give you after school? Why would they give you postgraduate work permit? And after the postgraduate work permit, why would they ask you to apply for PR? Even as I'm speaking to you now, those who are here on visitors visa, they have been asked if they want to go for work permit. So if you are here and you are having a visitor's visa, it can be converted into work permit only if you can bring an offer letter from a company. You can convert visitor's visa into work permit. And after working for 1 year, you qualify to apply under the express entry. If only you meet it, then you can apply for that. So they have a system to retain people. The companies here are suffering. They are complaining daily that they are not getting the human capital to work with. Some of them are folding up. Some of them are collapsing. Why? Because they are not getting people to work with. So why would they be in the embassy and say that we don't want you? They want you, but they want you to do the right thing. They don't want you to. They don't want you to take their system. You have a system that you feel is robust in the whole world. We are talking about. If they are talking about immigration system, they feel DS is one of the best, and they don't want anybody to be smart on them. So please, let's just be open. Okay, that's why some of us, the consultants that are there, just be open. Don't give it to connection man to go and do you try and error. They take about 100 people, they do try and error, add all sort of fictitious documents to it, take them there. Some of them give you good deals. They'll tell you, you know what, I'm not taking you money. Wait until you get the visa. Those are the killers. Those are the killers. It's better he even takes you visa money before he even applies for you. Those who don't take you money and they want you to get it before they want you to get a visa before they take money. Those are the killers, because they push all sort of things. They push all sort of documents to them, fake documents and all that. And the consequences of having a fake document as part of your documents, if I tell you, it's so bad. It's so bad. One, some of we guys, let me say we, because I've been there before. Some of we guys have been lucky to have been banned for 5 years. I say lucky to be banned for 5 years, because if I go further now, assuming you come in with a fake document, let's say you said the connection man will tell you, no, don't add your kids to it. If you add your kids to it, the embassy will not give. I don't know where they get that information from. The embassy will not get to give you the visa. Don't add your kids. Don't declare your kids. Don't declare that you are married. Okay, and then they give you the visa. You come in, you get to the airport, they ask you, do you have any kids? You say no. At the end of the day, when it gets to the time for you to do your PR, you are a human being, you are a parent, you are likely to bring your kids along, because you have the opportunity. Under the express entry, you have the opportunity to bring your kids. You might forget, or because you don't have access to the document, which most of the time the connection guys do, they don't give you access to the papers that is filed because of the fictitious nature of it. And they put all sort of things in. At the end of the day, when you come and you're going to do your PR or your permanent residence, those information that the person sent there, it should be repeated. This is the case the person didn't give you because it was fictitious. How do you go through your PR? That is why I said those who were refused and banned for 5 years, they were lucky, because you can come all the way to the citizen when you're about to do your citizen. That is where it will come up. The fake thing that you did in Ghana, that is where it will come up. The punishment is that they have to ban you. It's misrepresentation. They have to ban you for 5 years. And then even if they ban you 5 years and you're still in the country, that is good. The 5 years starts after you deported you. I'm giving you the integrity, I mean, the deepness of the system. It's not a one-time thing that someone gets you visa. I always say on other platforms that getting visa is not a bruchideko. Visa is a step. It's just a stamp that they put on in your passport. When you get to the immigration, or when you get to the airport, they will do you a short interview. They have to do you a short interview. And if you allowed yourself to be, someone sent your documents there. You don't know anything about your documents. All you knew is that you sent your passport. I'm talking not only students, to everybody. Not friends. You sent your passport and money. You gave it to the connection man, and he brought you visa. Don't be happy. Don't be happy, especially when you are coming to the airport. They will ask you questions. And you don't even know what the guy put in. And some of them, because of greediness, you are not even married, but in the form, they will put that you are married so that they can get access. Because one, you have a good document to get a visa. And so they will add somebody. If you are a man, they will add a lady to it and make the lady your wife. Meanwhile, you are not aware. You go to the immigration or the airport, and there's a CBSA, Canada Border Service Agency guys who ask you, oh, how is your wife doing? Oh, I'm not married though. But here you said you are married. So do you think they will ask you to come in? No. They'll ask you to go back. I'm just saying all these things for us to know. For us to know that, for all of us to know that, I mean, getting visa is not just filling form. It's about being truthful to yourself. That's why they ask you beneath it that make sure that everything that you are telling us is true. It is not a one-time event. It is a journey. So whatever you say from there will end up probably getting to the citizen level. So let us take note of that. So enough about connection, guys. Now we move on to, as part of the eligibility, we want to see whether you have social ties and family ties. Like I said, they have to present the picture to the international organization and to the other countries that they are not taking their people to their country. So they ask you, do you have a social ties, something to take you back home? Do you have a family? Do you have a property? Do you have something to show, like something to show them that you are going back home? If you don't have it, it doesn't stop them from, it doesn't give them the chance to refuse you. However, if you have it, it's an added advantage to have all those, your property, your car, and all that. Just add as many documents as you can. Just photocopy them and add them to it, or scan them and add them to it. Your family, your if you have kids, the kids' date of birth, sorry, the birth certificate, your marriage certificate, and all that, telling them that you are definitely coming back. If you have job, okay, if you have job, letter from the job. Most of us don't want our employers to know that we are going for visa and all that. So sometimes we don't tell them. So you can add your promotional letters or your offer letter, your job offer letter to it. You don't have to go for introductory letter for them to know what you're doing. So your job offer letter, or add those things to it. Convince them. Tell them that you are coming back to Ghana. Okay, so basically that is it. And so the eligibility, look at the admission letter or the invitation letter. You look at the bank statement that you have. You look at your social and family ties and all that to back your eligibility. So they look at, when they are doing the eligibility, that is what they look out for. Now we move on to admissibility. Admissibility. The question is, what is admissibility? Admissibility is they are checking your criminal background. That is how they call it. But I normally call it police background check. So they check your police background check, or they do the police background check to make sure you don't have any criminal issue back home. Now, one day I'll take my time and go into what we call the criminal or the admissibility. Something that can be classified as a criminal offense in Ghana may not be classified as a criminal offense in Canada. Okay, so the mere fact that you have a police report that shows that you were holding weed of certain quantity. I don't know, I'm not into that business, so I don't know much. But I know in Canada, when you are having weed in certain quantity, it is not criminal offense. Okay, but in Ghana, even if they see just a drop, it's a criminal offense. So if you present your police report to them with that information on it, it doesn't bar you from getting visa. Okay, because here it is not a criminal offense. Now, I don't know whether Ghana has passed this. I stand to be corrected, but if
Ghana, we haven't yet, so any amount is illegal.
It's illegal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think here, Canada, here we have certain quantity. If you have it on you, it is not illegal. Okay. So
I guess if it's more recreational, it's allowed in Canada. Or
it's allowed in Canada. Okay. Some are medical and all that. You'll be allowed in Canada. That's what I'm saying. That so if someone tells you, oh, you were once caught with weed in your hands, and you've stated the quantity of the weed in your report, you can't go to Canada. It's not true. Okay. So each and every country and the rules that it governs their bag or their criminality. Now, another issue has to do with LGBTQ. Okay, LGBTQ. I don't know whether, boss, I stand to be corrected. I don't know whether it is passed, but I know recently they were talking about it in Ghana. But here, if you're LGBTQ, it is not an offense. So if you have been criminalized,
I think Ghana is still illegal. So
okay, so yes, so that is why it is not good for someone to tell you in a blank statement that having a criminal background, it means you can't go to Canada. No, 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 no. It is not like that. They look at the issue and then they compare it. They look at whatever criminal offense that you caused back home and then they compare it to here. If it were to be here, how would they treat it? Okay. So that's why sometimes you see some people, but this guy was, he was put in jail for maybe some few months, but he's able to travel to Canada. Why is it that this guy he can never travel? They don't have same offense. Okay, so they look at the equivalent of the offense before they judge that, okay, you are admissible or you are inadmissible. Okay, so it's very important to look at that one. To don't write someone off because of the background, criminal background or something. You can even go ahead. If you drink and drive, okay, maybe, I don't know, Ghana, if you drink and drive and you are caught, okay, I don't know whether they give you a criminal report or something like a background. But here, if there's a charge, they write it in as a part of your report that you once drank and you drove, and it's not a criminal offense in Ghana, but it's maybe a summary offense or something, punishable by some little fine. If you come in here, it's a criminal offense. Okay, it makes you inadmissible. Even if you have if you're a foreign national and you drink and drive in this country, they will deport you. They will deport you. And even if you have a PR, they will ask you, they will send you a removal order. You have to go through the what do you call it? We call it immigration division, ID, to clear yourself. If you're not able to clear yourself, you'll be sent home. So you see, every country and its own way of weighing criminal offense. So don't let anybody tell you because you have a criminal offense or you have a criminal background in Ghana, you cannot come to Canada. That is why some of us are here to help you know the type of offense that you committed in order to know whether you qualify to come in or not. It's very important. Another issue has to do with as part of admissibility, which most of us don't know this. I'm going to tell you guys today. It's about the 5I. Okay, what is the 5I? UK, US, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. They share database. Okay, they share database. And so if you have been into any of these countries and they've taken your thumbprint and you feel you've been so smart, so you've changed your passport after you've been refused, or you've changed certain information, basic information about you after you've been refused. In US, you said you were married. In Canada, you said you are not married, but you did not produce a divorce certificate. It means you've lied, misrepresentation. They share the information. That's why they are taking your background. They're taking your thumbprint. The moment they put that thumbprint in the system, the database pops out. So if you've been to all these countries, whatever that you took there, whatever reason that you refused, is going to pop up. And so don't think you are smart. When they ask you, Have you been refused in any country aside Canada? You say no. Sorry, don't do that. Even if everything is 100%, you good everything 100%, and because of that little lie, you are done. They will not even tell you that it's because of this lie that is why we are refusing you. They'll tell you the normal, regular one. They'll tell you, oh, after careful review of your documents and all that, you don't have the financial support. I don't believe you'll be able to pay the fees. Those are not the reason why they refuse you. Don't get deceived. Those are not the reason why they refuse you. There's a reason for them to refuse you. Okay, so those who are fond of going to another embassy and changing their information, it will not help you. At the end of the day, if they don't even cut you in Ghana, when you're about to do your permanent residence, it will come up. I've been to so many tribunal or court where a lot of people have been deported. They are in detention because of little mistakes. Lying. Okay, so please, you should be careful. Even if you feel you are tricking something to trick something, be consistent. Don't go say something in US and come and say something in Canada. We share the database. They know everything. I can't remember when I was doing my permanent residence. Okay, I was truthful to them. I told them I'll be refused about 4 times in UK. It's not easy. I've been refused four times in UK, 3 times in US. I told them all this. Okay, but I didn't tell them the reason for the refusal, which they needed. Okay, so 2 days to the time for them to give my permanent residence, they sent me a letter telling me that, yes, we are about finalizing your permanent residence, but we need this information from you. You were refused in US. They gave me the date that was refused, specific date. On this date, on that date, on that date. You were refused in UK, this date and that. You were able to tell us that you were refused. However, you couldn't give us the details. So provide the details immediately. We're giving you 2 days, which is 48 hours to provide. I was refused in the year 2000 when I entered Legon. Where am I going to get a refusal letter? Where am I going to get that refusal letter? I've gone through all this. I've schooled here. Where am I going to get this thing? Lucky for me, I was so fortunate. I was keeping my documents. So my wife then was in Ghana, so was able to get me those documents. I presented to them. The next day, I got my permanent residence. The next day, I got my permanent residence. I'm telling you how the system is. You can't be smarter than them because it has, traveled a long way. You may be smart today, but the next day you might not be lucky. So please, let us try to be truthful. Just be truthful. And I know sometimes the truth, people say that if you tell them the truth, they will not give it to you. It's better you tell them the truth, try several times, and they will give it to you. For me, I always tell my clients, try 4, 5, 6, 7 times than giving your money, few sums of money to connection man to go mess you up. And then after 4, 5, 6 years, it will come up. So please, admissibility is something that they take serious. Misrepresentation. You cannot appeal. If you come to me and if you're misrepresented, I can't go to the court for you. If it is about maybe medical, then I can represent you and talk some for you. But for lying, how are you going to tell them? How am I going to tell them, oh, you lied, you didn't know that you lied? It's difficult. So please, before you submit your documents, even if a connection man, so-called connection man is helping you, try and look at the document, get the document and put it down for future reference. For future reference, get it. Don't let him keep it. Get it. So that has to do with misrepresentation. The punishment is that they give you 5-year ban, or if you are already in the country, they deport you and then give you 5 years to spend in Ghana.
And so, if I get you right, what you are saying is you should have access to their login information, even if a connection man is doing the application for you, so you know what is being put in the system on your behalf.
Exactly. The documents that were sent, not only the login gives you access to the progress report, okay, the status of your application. But when they are doing the application itself,
the documents they are uploading,
the documents that they are uploading, the documents that they are taking to the embassy, get hold of it. You need it 20 years, 15 years, because at the end of the day, if you are here and they tell me to help you with the PR, there's no way I can help you with just oral. I need the documents you sent to the embassy. I need it. A lot of people cannot apply for PR. Why? Because they know that, connection guys, they don't have one paper to show. So if you don't have one paper, some people can even do your paper for your visa application for you and try putting, they don't even ask you of your mom's name, your mom's date of birth, your mom, where your mom works and kind of business that she does and all that. They'll put their own name, put their own date of birth before they want to delay me. I mean, and show on the visa. But those things will come back and bite you. So
yeah, I think recently there was one incident where one agent, I think say in Nigeria, he used one bank statement for almost 50 applicants and they flagged it and refused all of them.
Imagine. Even in India, okay, some people were some guys were writing IELTS for them. They got opportunity to come into the country. They enrolled into the schools and all that. Could you believe they were able to track when they got hold of it? They were able to track those guys who got their IELTS, fake IELTS documents. I don't know how they were able to do it and got into the system. They track all of them, okay, about more than 50 students from India. They were all sent back home. After spending 2 years here. So the mere fact that they give you visa today doesn't mean they've closed your file. They give it to the audit and they give it to the quality control to make sure that whatever decision that they've taken now is in the right, perspective. So it goes deep into it, please. So let's try as much as possible to see the long term instead of the short term. The short term is getting visa, but the long term. All right. Now, as part of the admissibility, I don't know what the time. Let me see the time now. Sorry. As part of the admissibility, we have the medical issue too.
And I think we've done 42 minutes, so maybe we can do 15 minutes. Then from there we can do questions. Then maybe subsequently we can start scheduling like on a possible weekly or depending on your schedule how you want to do it and
individual visa types and all that.
Yeah.
But today
so
overview of what is expected.
So that today those who are here can at least ask questions and interact and get some answers. That
right.
I'll
wrap up very soon. All right. So with the admissibility, another aspect of the admissibility is the medical, which normally doesn't, normally doesn't affect more people. Very few people go through that. But the medical, okay, the medical too is another admissibility issue. Okay, they normally say that we have two main things that we look at when it comes to medical. We look at the effects in the society in terms of infectious diseases. Okay, if they allow you in, how are you going to infest? How do I even put it? The medical term. How are you going to transmit the disease to other people when you come in here? Okay, it's one of the things that they look out for, and that particular one is kind of difficult to convince them that you'll be able to save the people in this country, so they should give you the visa. Now, we have certain diseases too that are expensive to treat in this country, okay? But that one, you can overcome it. If you're able to prove to them that, hey, I'll be able to take care of my medical expenses. That one, you can overcome it by showing them that you're going to bear the cost of your medical expenses. But when it comes to infectious disease, it's kind of difficult for them to admit you in, because irrespective of how much you have, you are likely to infest people with it, or you are likely to transmit the disease to people. I know people have in mind, what about HIV? HIV used to be one of the things that, or one of the medical issues that they did not allow then, but now it has been allowed. Why? Because they've been able to get medicine to, reduce the impact, and then be able to get medicine which are less expensive as compared to those days where if you have HIV, you cannot enter. But now you can enter. You can enter. And most of the time, it depends on the visa officer. Okay, so you can enter with HIV. But I don't want to mention certain diseases where, to put fear and panic into people. Okay, one-on-one, then we can talk about that. But for now, they have medical issues too. So passing everything, and they're going to tell you to do your medical. Sometimes when people see medical, hey, they've called me for medical, and so I'm going to I'm going to approach it. No, please wait and pass your medicals too. When you're able to pass your medical, you are good to go. And especially when it comes to the express entry people, those who are applying for express entry, you can pass your medical, but maybe one of your kids, if that kid is not able to pass the medical, unfortunately, it will affect all the family members. Okay, so let's try as much as possible. If there is any medical issue that we need to treat, we should treat it before going for any medical test and all that for the embassy. Okay, so please, since we have a lot of people and the questions, I would like to summarize my presentation today and say that eligibility is one of the key things that they look out for. Admissions, the invitation letters, and how they should look. They should look like the admission letters. How they should also look like the designated learning institution numbers. If someone is giving you invitation, how the whole invitation should look like, and if it is, if you can even come in with what do you call it? You can even come in with hotel bookings. You don't always need invitation to come to Canada. You can book hotel and come in as a visitor, as a tourist, because they get the chance to come to Ghana. Why can't we also come? Okay, so you can book hotel and come. You don't need someone to invite you always. If you're able to prove that you come and go back. Okay, if you have a strong social ties, you'll be able to book your hotel and come in. Okay, and then we have workers too. With time, we're going to talk about all that. We have the workers, you securing your job in Canada and then coming in through the workers program. Okay, and then we have the express entry. The express entry meant for the federal skilled workers program, the federal trade, the provincial nomination. With time, as I said, I'm going to tackle and all that. The spousal sponsorship, the dependent sponsorship, and all that. Someone is here, you've gotten someone to marry, or someone has married you, and the person wants to sponsor you. It is not automatic that even if you consider your marriage to be genuine, they should give you visa. No, there are certain ways, or there are certain evidence that you have to show that this marriage is genuine, because they know very well that people are marrying for money and all that. But you have to go beyond that to show, and that is why we are here, to show you all those stuff. So I'm gonna, and I wish I could go on and on. If you give me the whole day, I'm gonna go the whole day. But
yeah. But
let me end here.
we can do the weekly thing, maybe going forward, maybe depending on your availability, maybe once a week or once 2 weeks. Then we pick one area, then we focus on it. Yeah, then we pick one area and focus on it. So so what I'll do is, I think I'll have about 5 questions that people sent in. I'll go through those 5 questions, then now open up to the people in the room to ask their general questions. And for those who joined later, I think what we agreed was Ernest is offering 15 minutes free one-on-one consultation, so that we don't have to get into deeper stuff here. This is an open forum where maybe you might not be able to share personal information and all that, to help me give you a much more detailed response. So if you go onto his website, you can book the free 15 minutes, have a conversation with him. Then from there, if there's a need to go deeper, that one can be arranged. But just to help know the kind of people in the room, I think I will launch a poll. Just give me your response and let's know what kind of people that we have today before we start the questions. Okay, so Ernest, so on the first question that came is, says, please, I've submitted my application already. I would like to know on my behalf, should I use a web form to send confirmation of registration to support my application? So the person has submitted study permit application, but he wants to know whether he should send another web form to confirm that he has actually submitted application. It is something that he has to do.
That he has to submit web form to know whether, let me understand the question, please.
So he says he submitted his application. Should he go ahead and submit a web form as a confirmation that for them to know that he has submitted application?
Was it paper application? Because if it is online application, yeah, I believe they give the person acknowledgement of receipt. Yes, that confirmed that you have received it. Once you get that, letter, I think it comes in immediately or after a day. Okay, they will go through and make sure everything is all right. Not all right that they cannot ask you to bring something else. They can ask you to bring, but in the initial one, it goes through a central processing center, and then you just do a quick look. Okay, if you meet the basic ones, they will push it through and then give you acknowledgement receipt. If it is online, they will give you, so you don't need to send a web form.
Okay, so this one, the person says, what do they like to see in a bank statement? A high amount or a medium amount over a long period? And also, what do they want to see as proof of funds? I think this was answered, but you can still maybe reiterate it for those who were late to the room.
Okay, so the bank statement, what they look out for, one, they want to know who is sponsoring you. If you are sponsoring yourself, what kind of business are you doing? Does the business commensurate with the money coming into the account? Okay, so if you're into poultry and every day, maybe every week or every day, you are putting in 200, 300, 200, 300, and at a certain point in time, started putting 20,000, 30,000, 20,000, does it commensurate with the business that you're doing? Right? Why is it now that you are putting big money? Okay, there's nothing wrong with you putting big money, but explain to them. That's why they have the letter of explanation. You can add a letter of explanation to it and let them know, oh, I am doing this business, this line of business, but recently I sold a house, I sold my car, and these are the proceeds that I deposited into that. Where is the evidence of sale? Add it to it. Don't give them the chance to answer your questions for you. Try as much as possible, because genuinely, some people have some money that will come in at the end of the period, okay, or during the time that they are about to submit visa. They wouldn't say, if it is your money because it's visa, don't put it in. No, put it in. At the end, they explain, offer them explanation to how you got the money, and add evidence to it. Just don't explain, add evidence to it. Okay. And then he was asking, quick one, he was asking whether it should be medium or that, like I said, the activity on the account commensurate with the kind of business that you are doing. Okay. And if it is overdraft or overdrawn account, you can still get visa, because not all businesses would like to keep physical cash in their checking or current account. Some run accounts so actively that they overdrawn their account. So we can't say that if despite is giving you overdraft account or overdrawn account, it doesn't have money. No. Okay, they will analyze it and know that with even your credit worthiness, the bank has been able to offer you a credit facility. That tells them that you are somebody that you can even trust. Even the bank giving you money has trusted you and giving you overdraft. How much more them? Okay, so you don't necessarily need huge sums of money to convince them. The activity on the account, the balance on account, yes, it counts, but at the end of the day, the activity on the account will tell them why the balance is what you can see over there.
Okay, so I think for those in the room, we'll open the room for questions. So if you want to ask it personally, you can just wait. When I open it the next 15 minutes, then you can just send it. You ask him directly. So the next question here, it says, what should be the content of SOP and what is the ideal length?
The statement of purpose. Okay, so they want to know why you are undertaking the program that the school, if it is school, why you are undertaking the program that you are undertaking, you want to go and undertake. They want you to link it to you coming back home. Okay, so if it is project management that you are doing, why project management? Why didn't you do it in Ghana? Okay, you have to acknowledge the fact that we have it in Ghana. All right, and why are you now, you have it in Ghana, why have you decided not to do that in Ghana, which is less expensive compared to the living expenses and all that, but you decided to go do it in, let's say, University of New Brunswick. Okay, so maybe University of New Brunswick is doing this, is maybe they have a globalized view of how project management should look like, okay, which is lacking in maybe the Ghanaian universities, or even Ghana is not offering those programs at the higher learning institutions. So that is why you decided to do it. Now link it to you as in person. How is it going to help you? Okay, how is it going to help your community? How is it going to help Ghana as a whole? You should give them a plan, a workable plan, something that you can look at it and say, oh, yeah, this guy is really making sense. He has a plan, he has a map, okay, activity map that shows that he's going to come back home. That is it. So just tell them, convince them that this paper that you've given them is workable. Don't give some huge, ambitious stuff on the paper that they know you are just saying it for saying sake. Workable one. Okay, even if it is timeline that you have to add the timelines to it. Maybe after this year, after 2 years in my education in Canada, I'll be back to help my company. My company is this and that and that. This is the position. That is why it is very important to do a program that one has something to do with the work you're doing now, or the school that you attended, your background. Or you can do general arts in SSS and then going to do medical or going to do let's say fashion. Sorry, general arts can be fashion. All right, so general arts and going to do medical, or something that what diverted at the end of class. Okay, so you should have a link to your background back in school and the current work that you are doing, and then link it to how beneficial it will be for you, how beneficial it will be for your community, how beneficial it will be for your country as Ghana. All right.
Okay, this one he says, does a previous refusal from US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, or EU affect your application for study permits to Canada?
For the face of it, it doesn't affect it, but they can go deeper. Why has Australia refused you? Why has UK? Why has US, New Zealand why have they refused you? Is there something wrong with you? They will reach out to them and ask you, oh, we have an applicant here, okay, and we realize that you've been refused at your end. Do you have any particular reason? They will offer them the reason. Okay, they will tell them, oh, we refused him. It's just one of those flimsy, because we were not having enough visas, and it's just something that is not, it's not something that you can punish him with or something. Just if you want to look at it, you can look at it, but it's not something tedious or something big time that will affect him. They can just say this and then they will go. Okay, but if you presented a fake document, definitely it's going to affect you. Okay, definitely it's going to affect you if you presented a fake document, or if you had said something which is different from what you're saying now. Let's say you were going to the United States because someone added you to him or her as a partner after the person won green card. Okay, and then you went to the US. Unfortunately, you guys couldn't explain yourself very well, so you were refused. Remember, when you were going to your US, you told them that you were married to Mr. A. Now, Mr. A's whatever connection did not go through. So now you want to come to school in Canada. You've forgotten that some time ago, you were added to somebody as a spouse. And so when you were applying for visa now, you did not tell them that you were once married. If you were once married, where is your divorce certificate? This is how deep they can go. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you that being truthful is the key thing here. Be straightforward. And I always say this. It's funny, but I always say it. For visas or for Canada, if you lied from day one, continue lying till you die. The moment you change your mouth, you are dead. It's not a good advice I'm giving, but that is the fact. Because you can't say this here and come and say something there. You were married in US. The next moment, you are not married you were coming to Canada, so you are not married. They will know. They will know. So let us be truthful and straightforward. So yes, it might affect you. And then no, it might not affect you because it wasn't any issue that needed some serious attention. Maybe they just refused you because there were not enough visas, or they refused you because of they has exhausted their quota. That is very, very important. If you are coming to school, you have to apply early. Right now, as I'm talking to you, I'm processing guys who are coming in January. Okay, September I'm done, because September, when you push it, to, let's say someone is going to look for school now, when is the person going to get admission? And then when is the person going to apply for September, which is 2-3 months away from now? They need time. There's so much, about 2 point something million applications in the embassies now that they are working with. Where are they going to start you from? So when it gets to the time, and then let's say it's about 3 weeks for you to start school, you'll quickly run through it. You'll run the system and ask them to give them those who want to go to school in September. It will give them. So imagine if you are 1,000 and the visas are, or the permits are 20 per. They will do elimination by rough tactics, give you some flimsy something and refuse you. That is why you have to apply ahead of time. Even if they refuse you, that is not the end of it. That's why we have reconsideration. We, the consultant, we do write reconsideration letter. We look at the issue, we request the officer's note. Okay, we look at the officer's note and see why they refused you. If we're able to identify why they refused you and we can overcome it, we overcome it and then write for reconsideration. And most of the time, they do reconsider their decision.
Okay, this person says he doesn't have any landed properties. How does he prove home ties?
Like I said, it is not a must for you to have it. It's an added advantage. If you don't have it, don't force yourself and go get it. Right?
Okay.
At least, yeah. Just be straightforward and tell them. Or they don't even ask you. So if you don't have it, you don't have it. Don't force it.
Okay. And the next question is, can I use 2 sponsors, my sister and my brother-in-law?
Yeah, your sister and your brother-in-law, meaning they are married couples, right? Yes, you can use them. You can use 2. All they need to know is that you have enough funds to support your ambition. Okay, not necessarily who is the money coming from. Most of the time, yeah, they give some preference to your immediate family. Okay, they do give preference to your immediate family. If it is a third party, they want you to establish the relation. Okay, so that is where the affidavit and all that comes in, to establish the relation. But why would someone you call your uncle sponsor you? What have you done for the person that the person is sponsoring you? Okay, what is the relation? They want you to prove the relation. Okay, so that is where we also tell you how to prove those relations and how the whole thing should look like. So
Okay.
it's good. I mean, if someone wants to sponsor you and they are more than one, it's okay.
Okay. This person says he has a fully funded scholarship, including flights and everything. He's still doing NSS, so his bank statement is not looking too good. So what kind of document should he have?
What is NSS, if I may know?
National service. National service.
Oh,
So he just
okay.
completed his doing national service.
And he's been able to secure full funded scholarship in Canada.
Full funded, including flights and everything.
Yeah, so the name speaks for itself. Full funded. So you don't need too much in your account. At least something to buy your insure and all that. It's okay. You don't need too much. You don't need too much. Because they're not going to even lay emphasis on that. The scholarship speaks for itself. They're going to fund everything, including your ticket. They'll give you some stipends or some money to spend. You are good to go. At the end of the day, they give you a visa that you can work with. Canadian visa comes with work. Okay. So, I mean, at the end of the day, 20 hours a week, yes, you can work. So you don't need some serious finances. At least you need something to show them that you were doing some business, or like you were getting some small chop money from your parents and all that. It's good. But you're not going to base on that.
Okay. This person says in case he is affected by the size of documents, the 4 megabytes on the GC key and the 2 megabytes on the new platform. And he cannot add all his documents, but he states it in his SOP. But he couldn't add the documents. If they need the document, would they ask him to resubmit would they request for the documents, or they would just base the decision on what he was able to submit?
I don't know whether he tried compressing it. But if he even tried compressing it and it's not working, you can add a web form. You don't wait for them to ask you. If it is important document, send it. The moment you send the first one, they will give you acknowledgement receipt, right? The one on the GC key. They'll give you acknowledgement receipt where you see your what do you call it? Your application number and then your UCI, okay, your unique number. So that UCI and the application number move to the web form immediately. Go to the web form and add it to it.
Okay. So this person is asking that after medical request, what are the odds that your visa can be refused?
After a medical request, or after you've passed the
so he's got a medical request and he's passed the medical request on the platform. Is there a chance that he can still be refused?
There's a very little chance that you'll be refused, especially if everything was done by you or you are aware of the information that you sent to them. Okay, everything that you sent, you feel you know about it. It's not a connection man who did it for you. At the end of the day, the reason why I'm saying that is that you cannot say you are in Canada until you go through the immigration. Okay, you sitting on the plane doesn't mean anything. All right, you going through the immigration is the thing. After you've gone for your bag and you step outside and you face the first code. I want to bow anyone who wants to go to Canada, but in Ghana right now, you are still at the initial process. Though it's good, it's positive sign that you've passed your medical. There's a high possibility that they're going to give you the visa. If only you know deep down you that every information that you send there, every document that you send there, you did it, okay, and you know about it, you should be good. But say if you didn't do it, they don't care. Say what we do and you want to what we do kutuka near Sunday a year bromo. I say they give the visa to you. Almost are resigning the visa. Okay, so you are not done until you step your foot in this country. And, but it's positive sign, very, very positive. Be hopeful, okay, that you are coming. No two ways about it, you are coming. But I don't want others to feel that when you get visa, you are here. No, you are not here yet.
Okay, so those in the room, if you want to ask a question, please, you can click the raise hand button. Then I'll call your name. Then you can unmute yourself and ask the question. So I'll ask the last couple of questions that are here. And those who have raised their hands, we will just go through them. So somebody is saying that, so for Ghana applicants, what are the essential documents that are needed for study permits?
Okay, so let me give a general one. I can't be specific, but let me give a general one because of the way, the laws that they have. Like, so the study permit, admission letter has been given to you. You have your bank statement. You have your documents, all the study, your credentials, your university degrees from Legon, from Tech, from all the private universities. You have everything in the file. Okay. Then you have your statement of purpose. You need to tell them the statement why you come in here to school and to do the program. Okay. And then not only the bank statement, you have to prove where the money is coming from. All right. So if it is salary account, okay, if it is a salary account, sample of your pay slips, and then the SNIT. Recently, I've seen people adding their SNIT and all that, which is positive to tell them that yes, the statement is coming from them. Okay, so they can add your SNIT and your pay slips and all that, and sample letters from your job, your promotional letters, right? All those things tell them that yeah, you are somebody who is going to come back home because you have a tie back home. And then if you have kids, okay, if you have kids, add their birth certificate and those who are working and they have insurance for their kids that are linked to their companies, you can all add those samples and there's no photocopies of all those things and add them to it, just to tell them that, yo, I have kids back home that I'll come back to them. Or even if I go ahead to take my PR, I have human capital that I'm bringing to Canada. They love kids. They prefer the kids than us. So people who tell, those connection guys who tell people, if you have kids, don't add them. I don't know where they get that thing from. Add your kids to it. They love the kids. They want you, almost sell margin to meet the Canadian way of life. They know very well, say, we are needed out. We are coming here to make money and take it back home. But for the kids, they believe that when the kids come in and then they try influencing them, letting them know that Canada is their country, Canada is their home, the kids will leave the money here. They will not take the money back home. So they love the kids. They love the kids. So please, don't put your kids. It's affecting a lot of. There are certain people in Ghana, some people in Ghana who have their parents here, and they keep on promising them, we will come for you, we will come for you. But I can bet you, they can't come for them. I'm not a prophet of doom, but that is the fact. They can't come for them because they did not declare them when they were coming. If they declare them now, they will be deported. So if your parents are here and they keep on lying to you or telling you, and they are not seeing progress, relax for them. It was not their fault. They fell in the trap of some connection man who lied to them, and they made that unfortunate error. Some are genuinely waiting. Some are genuinely waiting to bring you in. Yes, no two ways about that. But most of it, they can't bring you.
Okay, so Lord Mensah, I think you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right, Mr. Ernest, thank you very much. In fact, you've really educated us this afternoon with the issue of you not declaring whether you were bound a visa in another country. I spoke with another consultant, and then he was saying otherwise. And I think you've elaborated more on that. My questions are plenty, but I'll make them simple. So we now live in a world where every country is against Russia. So see, you have a travel experience with Russia. Does that affect your application? And then I would also like to know whether there are some provinces that give preference, or like if you apply to some provinces, especially with the study permits, you are very likely to get them very early, especially for Quebec, since they also have their own way of doing their things. Yes. And then with admissions that starts on the fall, do you advise students apply before a certain date? And then the last question is with the medical upfront medical test or whatever. Is it advisable to have it before applying, or are you supposed to wait till they request for it? I think that is all for now.
Okay. So the first one, I think I have three. You asked for, I have three. If you can come again. The first one is Russia. Whether if you've traveled to Russia before, it can affect your visa. No, I don't think it can affect your visa. It cannot affect your visa because even individuals in Russia, those Russians who are against their government or their government actions, they can even come here easily. How much more you just travel there? It can never affect you. There's no way they can use that one against you. Okay, it's a different thing altogether. And then the next one is that when is the best time for them to apply for the visa if they've already gotten their admission letter. I mean, from it takes between 3 to 4 months for them to do the, if you're going to be successful, 3 to 4 months for them to process your application. So you need between 3 to 4 months. You should be able to forward it. Don't wait till the last month or two. At least one kokra should be 3, but between 4 to 3 months, you go to go. Okay. And then the next one is upfront medical. Yes, the upfront medical, it helps, especially when you are late in applying. Okay, if it's left with 2 months for you to come to Canada, and then you are now going to apply. If you add the upfront medical to it, it helps because they can rely on it and pass you. Okay, so but if you have about 4 months or whatever, you don't know the outcome. You don't know how it's going to come out. So you don't want to spend money going to do upfront medical, and then at the end you are not successful. It will probably go against you or something, like you've lost money. So just do the cost benefit analysis of it. if doing a late application, then it's wise for you to do a medical upfront to save that time. For that time alone, it takes between 2 weeks to 1 month for them to clear you. All right, for them to clear you the medical. And you can do it if you are getting late, but if you have ample time to yourself, you don't have to spend so much. They will ask you to go and do it if they need it. I think there was a fourth question, but if you can come
Okay, so
again.
the fourth question was, do you have an advantage of applying to other provinces? Because Montreal, no, sorry, Quebec is having a way of doing their own things. Yeah, they are
Yeah.
kind of separated from the other province in Canada. So I was thinking, do you have some kind of special treatment? Should you apply to such, or you have your school in such province?
Okay. So advisedly, when you come for consultation, I tell you advisedly that these three main provinces try, if possible, to avoid. It doesn't mean if you apply to those provinces and you get schools there, they will not give you, but they are competitive, right? A lot of people are coming there, and so they want to spread. That is why they have the rural migration program, the Atlantic migration program, and all that. So if they can get someone who is from Ghana, who is coming straight without being wooed to come to their province, why not? So these main ones, the other ones, these are the main ones that I try to, let my clients avoid. Okay, it doesn't mean you not get it all, but just avoid it to put yourself in a very poor position to get a visa. Ontario, where I am now, Toronto, Quebec, there are a lot of guys there. I mean, at the end of the day, they have their own system of doing stuff, all right. But looking at the competitive nature of it, try and avoid if you can. It doesn't mean they are not giving, they are giving, but try and avoid. And then British Columbia, Vancouver, and all those areas, try and avoid. Now, when you come to the Saskatchewans, the Nova Scotias, the Alberta, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, they need the people. Why? Because that place is a little bit cold. Okay, and some of us will not go because it's cold. Okay, but if you can dress well, you are good to go. Okay, and those are the areas that you can easily get a permanent residence to. Interestingly,
and as Vancouver, is it because of the Chinese? Because the Chinese like there a lot.
and there's a Nippon Dawson, like Chinese guys are there. If it's
Because
not Ontario,
Asians go to Vancouver a lot.
yeah,
The
they are
Asians.
closer. The Chinese are closer to, land-wise, they are closer to them. Okay, so they are there. They are there. Like a lot of people are there, and that area too is nice. It's beautiful. It's just that it's expensive. Okay, so we Ontario, if you are, which is Toronto now, then you move on to Vancouver. Okay, so those are the three main people love to stay there. So the question is if there's a means to get to get to Canada through the other provinces. All right, why don't I go through that? And I'm a boy, Prince Edward Island, then New Brunswick and Saskatchewans and Nova Scotias and all that. Try and go through those areas. I don't know, faster. And even going forward, and you can also get your PR quick. But they have simple ways of getting your PR. Okay, some even after school, you just after school get job and that's it. Go get your PR. It's so simple and straightforward.
Okay, so this person has approval and is asking, say, what documents should she take to the port of entry when she's going? She's been approved.
Oh, okay. All right. So congratulations for you being approved. Okay. So now you have I think they gave you a letter that indicates that you should present it to the visa office, the officer when you get to the immigration. Okay. That tells them how many months or years or whatever they should give you, or because the visa itself is different from the permit. The permit is a paper, a brownish, yellowish paper that they will give you. Okay. That will spell out the conditions. Okay, they will spell out the condition that you have to obey when you come into the country. Okay, so those are the things. So you have to, very important, add that paper. Most of the time, people do forget that paper and they are in hot soup. So please, that paper is the number one before you even take atade. Okay, that paper is number one before you even take your clothes. Because they need it. That's the first thing they will ask you. Now, the second thing is that you can add your other documents and your if you're a study permit, you can add your what do you call it? Your certificates that you got in Ghana, add them to it. Your admission letter, very important. You need your admission letter to add. And then this is brotherly and sisterly, whatever advice that I give you. Please, with regards to your phones, please, those who have been approved and they are coming, go through your phones. If it is possible, throw that phone away and list your contact numbers. Because you don't know the communication, you don't know the sorry to say, hey, you'll be sending you once upon a time, we'll be sending you pornographic video. We'll be sending you fake visa. We say, oh, it will be a fake visa. If you just take a look at it, unfortunately, you did not delete it or did not take it out from your phone. It can affect you big time, especially pornographic movies and all those stuff.
I think that most people are not aware that they can scan your phone for if you find child pornography, then you are
They don't even have to find it first. They can request randomly. They can request randomly. I don't know how they do it, but maybe your body movement and that kind of stuff. Oh my God. Body movement. Excuse me for a second, please. Excuse me for a second.
Okay, so Kojo Frimpong, Eugenia Asare, and Amma, I think I've seen your hands raised, so I'll call you in that order when you get back.
Sorry, guys. Yes. So yeah, your phone. Please go through a chat, a communication, because there are certain things that we might not take them serious. We feel say, your phone. They have access to it. They can request your phone and then plug it in. I have a lot of guys who went through that. Some were so lucky that their phone went off. It was so funny, interesting that they had communication on it that could have implicated them. And the phone just went off. They couldn't charge it.
That's called blessing when your village witches are supporting you.
So please, irrespective of how you are coming in, whether you are coming in as a visitor, go through your phone. Go through your phone and take those things out. Even communication, that is telling you that when you come to school, when you come to school, you apply for PR and all that. Remember, you told them you are coming back to Ghana on your statement of purpose. Now you're talking about permanent residents. Okay. So please, let us go through our phones. If it is possible, I always tell my clients, you know what? To start phone opening, then list whatever numbers that you feel is important. List them. Okay. And then bring it along, get a new phone. Why do you have to go through that stress? Picture why that is not your interest, but they sent you pornographic movies, pornographic pictures. In Kuala Lumpur, they don't want to see kids being molested and all that. Pictures, videos of people being killed and all that. Some terrorist statements on your phone, threatening people. Avoid it. Just avoid it and be in a good position. Avoid it. Okay.
Okay, so Kojo Frimpong, I think you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, okay. So thank you for enlightening us about some of these ways in which you can get to Canada. But I think earlier on you said that they need us, and then some of the companies are on the verge of collapsing, and then a whole lot of things. So I wanted to know the industries, the fields that really need personnel, so that it will guide us to know which field that we can actually venture into. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna put I don't know whether you've heard of Job Bank, right?
Yes,
So
please.
yeah. So we can look at Job Bank. You can go to Job Bank. They've listed the jobs, the kind of job, the industries, and the number of people they need. Okay. They don't even put the number, they put the companies, 40,000, 50,000 companies who are looking for, especially the manufacturing companies. Those who are good in driving forklifts, and all those things, those tracks, cleaners. They want the cleaners and all that. But interestingly, they say all these things, but the cleaners and the carpenters and the masons that they want not the kind of masons that we do. Not necessarily say they are not writing us off, but they want certain qualification. Okay, if you're a mason, the question is, what is the certificate that you have?
I think
That
it's
proves that.
because they want the technical qualification. So because from their side, most people who are masons and carpenters go to technical school to get a
Yes, they have
qualification.
it. Yes, they have it. And the electricians, I have a friend who is learning electricals and all that in Alhambra College. And the guy can tell me the kind of codes and, colors and codes and articles and law and all that concerning electricals. So he is considered as an electrician here. So compare such a person to someone in Ghana who is also an electrician, okay, who learned on the job. So I don't know for now. I don't know whether Ghana is offering tuition in that, but I think NVTI, if you have NVTI, you stand a good chance of coming through the Federal Trade Workers Program. Okay, so they want the cleaners, they want the whatever, but they want you educated. They want your certificate to prove, because you cannot show them video. You cannot turn them video to see. I mean, for them to see how you drag your forklift and all that. They need certification.
Okay. This person is asking that is it true that using third-party sponsorship in Ghana as proof of funds is very difficult to obtain a study permit?
Relatively comparing to your immediate, that's why when I was giving the presentation, I said your immediate family, they have an added advantage. Okay, your immediate family has an added advantage. But when it is your external family or when it's a third party, that is where you have to bridge that gap. Because already they know people go to people, beg them for statement and all that. But if that person is your family member, he'll be willing to swear an affidavit to indicate the relation that you guys have. So if it is your cousin or if it is your uncle, it should be your maternal uncle or your paternal uncle. All right, I am your brother's. I'm the applicant's mom's brother or something, just to establish the relation. Because you don't have birth certificate to prove. The only thing that you can use to prove is to swear an affidavit. Okay, so third party, yeah, compared to your immediate family, it's not that strong as your immediate family. But I mean, I came in with my uncle, and I had to just swear an affidavit, so it's possible.
Okay, so Eugenia, sorry, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Adu-Ansong.
Yes.
My question is actually an extension to a question you answered about sending some of your documents in Word form if you couldn't add to your application because of the size. And I'm asking that the application was submitted 8 weeks ago. Is it still possible for me to send the Word form?
Yeah, until they make a final decision. Any 8 weeks is about 2 months, right? It's still possible, very, very possible. So until they make a final decision, you can add it to it. Okay. So you go ahead and send it. Yeah, go ahead and send it.
And I think somebody wanted to, I know that you have the AI, Chinook, the AI that the RRCC people normally use for their processing the application. Somebody is asking if you can just shed some light on it.
The AI, what is AI?
There were some news articles about Chinook. There's this AI that I think one of the JL cases that came up, a Ghanaian applicant won. IRCC said that they use AI to process applications, and it was called Chinook. So,
Chinook.
Okay, yeah,
maybe I have to do some research on that.
Okay, no problem. So, Amma, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Ernest, for enlightening us. My question is with regards to a study permit application. I wanted to know If you would advise applicants to make payments like first year tuition payments, or like getting your sponsor to transfer some money to you, like in a form of like for you to have access to the money with regards to your study permit application.
Okay. So let me give a little background on that issue, which has come up, especially of late. What is happening is that during our time, I was here some few years ago. During our time, we're not asked to pay fees. Okay, but unfortunately, when we come in, most of us did not go to the school. Could be one reason or the other. Some are finances. Some actually had in their mind that they were not going to go to the school, but they want to use the school as a means to get in here. All right. So, I mean, they selected certain countries who had their citizens doing that, and Ghana, unfortunately, was one of those countries who were coming in. They were coming in. They were not being allowed to pay fees, but when they come in, they don't go to the school. They straight the next day they jump when they. I mean, for the airport, the next day they jump to the factories and start making money. All right, so it actually distorts the estimation of from the Canadian statistics or Canada stats, because it's distorting their figures, because they anticipated that if you give this number of people visas, we are anticipating that we're going to get this amount of money from international students. Then they realize that the money has fell short, and they make further investigation and realize certain countries, when they come in, they don't go to the school. All right, so then they advise the schools. It's not all the schools that took the advice, but some of the schools took the advice. So now when they give you admission, they tell you to pay the first semester fees, and then they give you specific time to pay it. Some of them too will tell you to make a non-refundable deposit. Okay, a non-refundable deposit of, let's say, 500,000 or 750 into the account. So depending on what the school says, okay, then I feel you should obey if you have it, because at the end of the day, you said you are coming to school and your total fee is about $75,000. Then they're asking you to pay 9,000 as your first semester fees. You don't have to say anything. If really, really you're coming to the school and you have the money, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay. So if you pay it, it is not a guarantee that you are getting visa. Because I mean, what about if you pay and then at the end of the day you have issues with misrepresentation from the US, or you have medical issue, or you have you have a criminal background check. So it is not a guarantee. No one, even Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, cannot promise you visa. Okay, nobody can promise you visa except those who call themselves connection guys who say they have people in there. Okay, so if the schools are asking you to pay your fees before you come in, ideally you are supposed to pay before you go for the visa, because even if the officer wants to give you, or if you meet everything, and that one went to he can based on that and refuse you.
And I think just to add on now, the school communicates your progress reports to IRCC in terms of whether you are going to school or not. So there's been times where people have say that they've completed school, and by the time they are ready to do PGW, they'll be told that your record shows that you attend only less than 50% of even school work, because they get progress report on what you are doing.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody is asking that, is it advisable to use educational loan from your country or international bank for visa application?
Advisable to use loan.
Educational loan.
Yeah, it's also a source of fund, right? And these things, in the IRPA, which is the Immigration Refugee Protection Act, nothing has been stated concerning how you should get your money to pay your fees. Okay, about I'll say 60% of the decision that the officers make, they use their discretion. That's the word that you see most in the Immigration Act. Okay, discretion, discretion, discretion. That is where Ghana, our this thing helps, our Impaibo helps, because it depends on the mood of the officer, and they've given them so much power. They're so powerful to the extent that on Famawa or the Bemau. And that is where we also come in as a consultant. Okay, then I will take you on as a consultant, right? I'll ask you questions in my reconsideration letter. That can you tell me where in the act that you were asked to base on this and refuse? Okay, that is where we also come in, the lawyers and the consultants, right? So I mean, it's 100%. Let's say it's about 60% their discretion. They can decide to use that or not.
But I think even on the loan on the IRCC website, it's stated there that you can use loan as part of the things that are listed. So JB Dankwa, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Ernest. Thank
Hello.
you very much for today. So I have two questions actually. The first is, so I've submitted my application already, somewhere ending of April, and just beginning of this month, my uncle sent me this flyer. Apparently, there's this consultancy firm that they're in Canada. They come down every year for a job fair, and then he asked me to go in and all that. But he doesn't know I've submitted my application actually for student permit, like student visa. So he thought, oh, I could just go and then seek for these jobs, and then I could get like a work permit and all that. I want to find out if I do go for this job fair, and I mean I'll post it in the group later on the flyer. If I do go for this fair and I probably get a company that's willing to sponsor, because I hear they do that, to sponsor. I think they get you the LMIA or something, and then they're willing to sponsor and all that. How do I have to tell them that, oh, I've put an application for a student permit, or like how do I do it? Secondly, is there a way that Ghanaians usually, like January, we can probably be added to like the direct stream or something? Because when Nigerians have been going and they get their responses so fast because they apply through the direct stream, does it have to go through maybe our foreign affairs system, or like what has to be done? Because you can stay there for 3 months and then you get a refusal. Like sometimes, honestly, I don't think it makes sense. I think Ghana for your quiet man. I mean, kindly help out.
Right. Okay, so the first one, you were asking of the concurrent application where you put in your work permit and then you put in study permit at the same time. Okay, so
yes,
if they have the two, all right, most of the time they will write to you and ask you which one do you want us to consider, right? Because they don't want to give you two and then you can't have two. I mean, if someone is on work permit, it's on a different status. If you have a study permit, you're on a different status, right? So most of the time they will ask you which one should they consider, because you brought in two applications. In case they don't see it, okay, but at the end of the day, if you are even doing the second one, you need to quote your UCI number on it. The first one, when you send your application, all right, for the study permit, they will give you a UCI number after the acknowledgement, or they will give you the UCI number on the acknowledgement receipt, right? And so when you are doing the work permit, you have to quote the UCI number on it. So they will give you that, benefit of doubt and ask you that most of the time, they will ask you that which one should they process. If you are lucky, they will end up processing all the two. And then when you get it, you decide what to do.
Okay, so sorry to cut you in. Does it mean that if probably so the job fair is in the first week of July. So if by then I've gotten a passport request, that means I've gotten the study visa. So then do I have to tell them that, oh, I've gotten this visa? Do they have to reapply for the LMI for me, or I can go there and then they'll work it out from there? Like how would it be done? Or they wouldn't have to apply for the work permit at all?
Okay, so we have
then that's one that I can probably defer, maybe not necessarily defer the course, but I mean for my school, I know that my course can be done part-time. So then I can probably switch to a part-time when I get there. Like, so how is the work going to be done?
All right. So if you have the two, right, we have a form that we call change of condition form. Change of condition means that you are probably changing from study permit to work permit, or from work permit to study permit to visitor. You can change anyhow you want it, if only they approve it for you. Okay, so all depends on you. If you come and you have the two, right, then you can change and tell them that yes, that is the first one. You came in as a student, All right, now you've gotten a work. So you want to change your study permit into work permit. They will consider the circumstances and all that, and then change it for you if you deserve it. Okay, so we have a means to change conditions from work permit to study permit to work permit, or even to visitor. And I quite remember, this is a personal story. I made a mistake like that. I was trying to apply for visitor's visa from within Canada. Okay, and unfortunately, when I was filling the form, I was a student by then. When I was filling the form, I selected change of condition. I was having 3 years work permit, and unfortunately, I filled a change of condition, and they changed my work permit to a visitor. That was not my intention. Yes, it was crazy. It was crazy. That was not my intention. I was looking for visitor visa to go visit home for just 2 weeks, and I changed my open work permit, which is the postgraduate work permit, 3 years to a 1 year visitor visa, meaning that I'm telling them that cancel my work permit and make me a visitor. Can you imagine? So quickly, and then I had to call them and tell them that, yeah, it was a mistake. Oh, how can I go? So, please, can you please reconsider and then change it back? I was lucky to meet a good visa officer who changed it back to me.
So in
Okay,
that case, I would have to be
you can
there
change.
before I can change it.
Advisedly, come in first before.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
come in.
Okay. So the next question here, the person wants you to enlighten more on
Hey,
advantages and
sorry.
disadvantages of.
Please,
Yeah,
my second question.
There was a
Rampa,
second question.
please, can you let's. I think
There was a
you've
second
taken.
question for her. I think there was.
I think we have 20 minutes more, and there are a couple of questions. I think she's asked like 3 different questions already. So that we
I think
just
there
give
was
everybody a chance.
another question.
Rampa,
Let
I
me
think
tackle it.
Ernest said you can book like 15-minute session one-on-one where he will like one-on-one session where he will look at individual details and give more personalized answers.
But
Right.
please let me tackle this quick one. I think she has
Okay.
very important question. The second one, why is it that the Nigerians are getting straight approval 3 weeks and they have a program for them, direct stream. All right, it was based on our attitude. Yeah, back home was saying when we were coming here, we were not going to the schools. We were jumping straight to the factories. The Nigerians, no matter how we perceive them, when it comes to school, don't joke with them. They go to the schools and they are giving money to the economy. As many of them as they can. When they come in here, they go to the schools. Look at the express entry that the Nigerians actually they charter planes to come in here as permanent residents because they've given a good account of themselves. Ghana, when we come, I mean, opinion be our for school too baby. Never say school. And then they will influence us. We don't go to the school. If you have the money, it's because of our attitude. That is why we are here today. And then we cannot they have to take 3 months, 4 months. At the end, one of my statement. At the end, one they are looking for in our document because of our attitude. So I don't know how the foreign ministry can intervene to correct that, but I think our attitude will form the base for which they can dwell on it or stand on it and correct that whatever anomaly. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think sometimes Ghanaians we are very, very polite. We don't like to make noise. So even online, if you tell people to report delays online on Twitter directly to the Minister of Immigration, nobody will even bother. But the Nigerians, they can create even fake accounts just to bombard the office to let them know this is what's happening and it's going wrong. So that's one. And somebody was asking about advantages and disadvantages of a visitor visa. I think you mentioned visitor visa, the benefits, and the person was asking for more information on it.
Advantages and disadvantages. Once you get a visa to Canada, it's advantage. There's nothing a disadvantage. All right. So I don't know how the disadvantage should go like, but when you have it previously, the reason why I'm saying previous because recently there's been some changes. Previously, if you have a visitor's visa, you should be a visitor as such. Come and visit and go back. Okay, there's nothing you can do previously. But now, if you're a visitor and you are here, you can change to other stream. You can become a student, you can become a worker. because of the numbers that they want, the people that they want to work. That's why they've tweaked a little bit to favor them, not for us, but to favor their companies. So what they do is that when you come in as a visitor, and then because you don't have to create the impression for them that, oh, I'm coming in as a visitor. When I come here, I'll change to become a worker. No. It's a bouncing straight. But when you are here, then you are covered by that policy that for now, if you're a visitor, you can go in for your work permit and then work. After 1 year of work, you can then apply under the express entry and become a permanent resident. So yeah, those days, visitor visa, you're not that idiot, but I mean, especially when you are a visitor visa now, I mean, you come here, you see a beautiful lady or you see a handsome guy that you guys feel you click and you want to marry. Why not? You can marry and then you get your permanent residence and all that. Not on fictitious marriage, but real marriage. We can happen. Okay. So I can't see a clear disadvantage of visitors visa, especially now. It's more or less like the only other visa now.
Okay, so Robert Dazi, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ansong. My
Yes.
question has to do with filling the section for room and board and other, and also tuition and available funds in the document when you are filling the form for the study permit. What do you have to put? Is it just the 1 year, or you have to do it for the 2 years of the program?
So
thank you.
yeah. Okay, so they're asking you for the total fees. Okay, so they want to know that the money is ready, it's ready. So the amount of money that you have available for your school and not for first year for school. Most of the time, when they are doing the analysis, when they're doing the analysis on your bank statement, then they will do analysis based on 1 year. But you are telling them that this money is what you have for the school. Not necessarily this is what you have in your bank statement, but this is what you have for the school. That is how much you've earmarked for your school. So you need to put the total amount and not your first year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alex, guest, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Ernest. God
Yes,
richly
sir.
bless you for offering yourself to be of help to many people. Yeah, I personally, I am already in Canada and I have keen interest in seeing my fellow brothers and sisters also joining us in here. Now, so based off some of the questions some people ask, I want to make some contributions and also ask my personal question. So
Okay.
the first one would have to do with the study permit, which the sister asked earlier. She made mention of the fact that she has already been granted and what are the documents she would need. The study permit, as I know, my time is issued at the port of entry, and it's supposed to stipulate the conditions of your study. But for some funny reasons, mine doesn't have even a single condition on it. I don't know how come that it was. And unfortunately for me, before coming, all I knew was how the study visa may look like. But the study permit, you didn't know how it looks like until you are issued one. It's just about last 2 weeks, I saw how one looks like, and I compared it to mine. There was no condition. So in that event, what can the sister do, just in case she may be faced with the same challenge?
Okay. So you had no condition on yours, right? Hello?
Yeah, not even one.
Not even one. But
Yeah, hello.
beneath, down the what do you call it? Down the permit, they wrote that you have to fulfill certain condition in section whatever. Section 20 or something. There was nothing on it.
There was not even one. There was nothing. I could show it to you probably maybe.
Yeah, show it to me later.
Something of the sort. My journey has been quite different.
And they did not state they did not state that you can only work for 20 hours a week?
There was nothing like that.
Hmm.
Even the time to leave the country is not even on it.
The what is not on it?
Yeah, the time that you are expected to leave Canada by this time, it's not even on it.
Wow. Or maybe they've granted you permanent residence straightforward.
I think maybe if you do one-on-one, and then he can send you a picture for you to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I doubt, because come again.
Yeah, I'd love to see it, like one-on-one, to see how it looks like. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Because even the immigration officer at the port of entry, when I was asking questions, he was like, you know what, gentlemen, hurry up and leave. He didn't even have time to even ask me questions, anything of a sort.
hey, maybe let's look at it. Maybe you've been granted special dispensation. It happens.
Really?
But have you been able to get your sin?
Yeah. So this is when I got to know my my course has a co-op aspect to it. So I was also given a co-op work permit as well.
Right.
It was on that basis that I was granted the sin. However, I was told that I cannot work on the usual 20 hours because there was no condition on my study permit. So if I have any sin as of today, it is due to my co-op work permit. And backdating when I applied for the visa, mine took almost 1 year before there was an approval. And just to add to what the sister was saying, that she submitted a application 8 weeks ago if she can raise a web form. I raised a web form 8 months after to give them an update of my letter of acceptance. Because then I asked the school to hold on. They should give me the latest intake again, just so that I wouldn't elapse all that my stay was. I was in Ghana back then. So it could be an advice to some people back home that, you know what, you can choose to hold on to the online studies and ask for an updated letter of acceptance, just so that I can raise the web form. You don't elapse your stay in Ghana. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think I'll look at your issue one-on-one, and then we take it from there. Okay.
Okay. So Isaac Amankwa, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay. Oh,
okay.
My last bit, please. My last
boss.
please,
Thank you for such
on the
opportunity.
point of. Sorry.
Thank you for such opportunity. Applied for study permit, that was March, and I received my refusal letter. That was Friday, and I was very, very devastated because I even pay full year tuition fee, which is. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, and I even paid tuition fee for 1 year, which is 16,000 Canadian dollars. And my bank statement, everything was on point. But my refusal, they state the reason of refusal is purpose of visit and insufficient fund, and insufficient fund for any family member I'm coming with. But I apply alone. I didn't attach any family member. I am a single person, so I don't know. But someone advised that I should order for my note to know the specific reason, because I was very devastated, even especially the purpose of visit, because I drafted the SOP in every point, and it was even career progression. So I don't know, maybe they didn't even read my statement of purpose, or I don't know, because I was on point.
Okay. So when were you expecting to start school? Like which admission? Is it May or?
It is for intake, but I have other option for winter intake too. The school gave me 3 slots for admission. It is a 2-year course, and the course is business analytics. And beside, I'm a finance guy, accounting and finance guy. So I'm pursuing that course to boost my
Okay.
IT level and data analysis level.
Okay. I think in your case where, I mean, they said something which is way different from what you actually presented, that your family members, you don't have enough funds and all that. The best thing to do is to request for the note. Okay, because most of the time, what I've realized is that the kind of reasons that they give, that is not the main reason. That is not the main reason. But when you look at the main note, the officer's notes, that is where you see. And then when you can relate to the reason that they give you in the notes, then you say, oh, okay, that is after the man who didn't hear, he refused me, right? So the best thing to do is to request for the note, and then there we can analyze the notes, and then if we need to do a reconsideration, why not? We can do a reconsideration and look at the issues that he raised. Okay, but I mean, it takes about 30 days for you to get a note, so you
Yeah,
have to do it as fast as you
I just
can.
want to come
Get a
in.
note.
I ordered the notes around 19th May because one of my colleague was telling me that I should order the notes. Sometimes they need something, but they will not inform you. So I
Yeah.
ordered the notes around 19th May.
Okay.
But this 19th June, I didn't receive the notes. And this
Oh,
19th June,
19th June is today, right?
yes.
Yeah, so start maybe next week, not today, Sunday, no.
So
Next
I
week.
want to know, would the refusal be stated in that note? Because that note, I ordered it on 19th May. And I received a refusal letter on Friday, this Friday. So I
Oh,
don't know.
you're not
The,
gonna put that one in, because
the,
as at the time that you request, that is when they have a lock-in date. Okay, the date that you bring, they will lock the date and then give you the information, history, like historical data, right? So they will give you the history. So I don't think you see the refusal in the reasons.
okay, so I should order new notes, right?
Yeah, order new one. Order new one.
Then,
Then based on that, we can take it from there. Okay.
all right, okay.
Okay, so 2 hours with Ernest is almost up. So we'll take the last question from Gote. But I think before Gote comes in, somebody was asking that is it okay to send several web forms to the visa office when there are delays? I know me
Okay.
personally, I send one every day, so I don't know. Is there a problem to it?
No, but I mean, if you send the web form and it's on different subject, yes. But if it is the same thing, you know what? They are human beings. They get pissed off, right? Because anytime they receive the web form, they open and it's your name. They open it's your name. Sometimes, like if it were to be you, how would you feel? Like, why is this guy pestering me? Why is this guy doing that? He doesn't know you don't know him, but he feels you are personally attacking him, right? So let's reduce the web form. Let's reduce it at the barest minimum. Okay. If it is one subject that if you have another issue to talk about, yes, then you can go ahead and talk about it. But if it is the same thing, you don't have to be repeating it. You will piss them off.
Okay, so Gote, you can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ernest, for your time and everything. God bless you so much.
Yeah,
At
thanks.
least we've had someone that would give us certain details in terms of our application. And please, my question is, um, I wanted to find out concerning the verification of the bank statement. If the bank statement, do IRCC have the authority, as at probably you have applied for the study permit application, and that do they have the authority to know the exact amount in the account of your sponsor, or they just verify if that particular transaction has been made before in that particular account? And also, please, I would want to know if your sponsor maybe has an amount of money to be deposited into your account. When that amount of money is being deposited into the account, does IRCC verify if that particular amount of money is still in the account, or they just check if
probably that particular amount of money has or that transaction has been made before. That is my question. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let me tackle from the last question. You want to know whether RCC will check whether you still have the amount in the account, or after you've printed the bank statement to them. They have the right at any point in time to ask you to bring additional documents. Okay. They have the right to tell you that, okay, so we've been processing your documents for a while. Give us a fresh, if they feel, I mean, that's why I said it's at the discretion of the visa officer, the way they feel. If they feel that this amount, it could be just a one-time deposit that you made and you printed a statement, they can ask you to bring another one immediately. And then they'll give you a short notice. They'll give you 72 hours. Okay. So if you took the money, if you put the money in there, and then you took it out after printing the bank statement, they have a means to get you. They have to bring within 72 hours. Right? And then the second question, do they have the authority to ask for your balance and all that? They don't have the authority to ask for your balance. However, they have the authority to send a questionnaire or a query to the bank to ask your sponsor whether he's aware that whether your sponsor is aware that he's sponsoring you, or you have brought his statement to sponsor you, and whether that account is active, but they don't have the right to ask for the balances. Right?
Okay.
On the face of it, that is how it looks like. But trust you me, they might be able to get insiders who will tell them the balances.
So, so this one, I'll just speak from my experience, at least talking to somebody in the bank. Sometimes they will not ask for the balance, but they can just send the document, the bank statements to the bank to confirm whether it's valid or not. And also ask about a particular transaction and say, confirm for us. So they might not ask the amount, but they can ask to check some details in there and whether the statement actually is from the bank or not.
And please, Mr. Ernest, please, there's a follow-up question. And please, in this case, my sponsor is my uncle, which he has given me a good bank statement. He's a businessman as well and everything. But then my mom wanted to give me an amount of money to be deposited into the account, but then which it would be in the account for some time. Eventually, she would get the money back. That was how come I was asking in question of that. So is it advisable, or I should just leave my application just like that as it is, or I should go ahead if probably it's good for me to go ahead with it?
So you want to know whether the money that your mom wants to deposit into your account, have you applied already?
Yes, please.
You applied for the visa already?
Yes, please.
And your uncle's statement has been added?
Yes, please.
And you want to find out whether the money that you want to deposit money in the account and print it and go and add it to it, or what?
Yes, please.
I don't get it. Like, now your uncle is sponsoring you, and your mom wants to deposit money into whose account? Your uncle's account or your account?
Into my account.
And then you add it to it as evidence of your personal statement, your personal money.
Yes, something like that, or evidence as my how do you call it? My uncle giving me some amount of money for the living expenses. Some amount of money.
Oh, so you want to raise the web form and then add more documents to it?
Yes, please. That my maybe my uncle has given me this amount of money to be deposited into my account.
No, don't go complicate things. All right. Already now, the or say until say, everybody coming there is a suspect. All right. So don't give them that chance. Feel say you are trying to convince them. The moment they see you are so anxious, then that is where the bouncing will come in. All right. Relax. Relax. Don't go over proof to them that you can pay your fees and all that. Relax.
Okay, Mr. Ernest. So I think the 2 hours that we borrowed, it's even past. So thank you very much for your time. And I
Thank you
think
very much.
to everybody in the room, I think, like we said, Ernest is open to free 15 minutes consultation with anyone. So if you go to his website that we posted, you can book a free 15 minutes consultation with him, where like you can have a more direct one-on-one conversation and talk about your individual issues for him to support. And if there is a need for uh, him to have a much more detailed conversation with you, then you can book a paid session where he will support you accordingly. Let's not try and cheat a free session out of him. It's good. And he also make himself available subsequent weeks where we can have this session where you can ask your questions every now and then. So we'd like to thank you, Ernest, and I'll try as possible. If on the next availability, I'll share with the people, then we can have more conversations going forward.
Okay, thank you very
I think
much for.
somebody is asking about your charges, so I don't know whether you want to share it here or when they come one-on-one, then after that you can have that discussion.
I think one-on-one will do, and as time goes on, when we become familiar with each other on the platform, then we can discuss into details. But I want to make this point that I don't know whether it's only students who are here, but my services run across, being sponsorship, those who are married or going to be married in kind of like to a Canadian or permanent resident. We do all that. We do for those who want to sponsor their spouses, their dependents, their kids, and all that. We do all that. And the
I think most of us, everybody is trying to move one way or the other, but because express entry for some time was stuck, people are now going through the study permit route. So my advice would be everybody should try and maybe get some time with you and tell you their plan so you can have a more of an immigration strategy on how to go, whether the other means that the person can use based on his qualification. Myself, there was a time where I was fully qualified for express entry. I didn't even know. It was later that it was too late that I realized. So I would advise that people should book their 15 minutes, discuss their strategy, then you can advise accordingly. Then from there, you can map up a strategy on where to go next.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for the time.
Let's take advantage of the express entry. The Nigerians are coming in with chartered flights. Let's come. Okay.
Yeah, they are going like water. Thank you very much. And thank you all for at least joining. Thank you.